Happy after church hour, guys, for Sunday. Well, the only thing I can say here is Canada, we have a problem. Trudeau has gone completely insane, all right, to the point of being a totalitarian dictator, all right? We, for all intents and purposes, have martial law in Canada at this point. And that's not overthrowing the government. Trudeau has just appointed himself as Field Marshal von Trudeau. Now, you've probably seen all the videos with everybody's seen the video of the little lady with the walker getting trampled by the horses. You've seen videos with guys getting dragged out of trucks, after the cops have broke the windows open. You've seen people be beaten by the cops, by need as they were down, whatever it is. I mean, all very militant, let's put it that way. Now, in the United States, we have the First Amendment, which allows us the freedom to assemble. Canada has Section 2 of the Canadian Charter of Rights, which guarantees them the freedom of expression, the freedom of association, and the freedom of peaceful assembly. So what you have here is Trudeau and his government and the police force, and this pains me to say this, turning into a stormtrooper force, violating the Constitution, the Charter of Rights, I guess, if you will, of the country that they are there to uphold. Now, we've talked about this ad nauseum, and I've always been back the blue. Sorry, Canadian cops, I can't do that. There are a couple, the police chief in Ottawa who resigned the other day because he refused to carry out the orders from Trudeau to assault, beat, and hurt the citizens of the city. But that didn't mean that you didn't have another cop with his Heinrich Himmler mentality to come step up and say, sure, I'll go in and do it, because this is starting to get dangerous. All right. A lot of us talked about Canadian Prepper's video the other day when he said that he was asked to send all his MREs. And I had a feeling, people were trying to say, oh, it's because of the storm or whatever it is. I have a feeling that's to set up a way to feed the people that they expected to be arresting here. Supposedly, they've arrested 170 people now. Now, I will put a caveat in this real quick. Anybody that is being a violent protester should be arrested, okay? There have been stories of protesters who have shot flare guns at officers or whatever it is. Yes, those people should be arrested. But standing there, little old lady, saying shame, 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 is not violent in any means. Locking arms together and saying hold the line is not a violent protest, whatever, okay? I mean, it takes a complete idiot to send horseback or, horse troops through a crowd of people. I mean, it's obvious what's going to happen. Let's go back to what happened in Waukesha, Wisconsin around Christmas. Gee, you drive a car through a crowd of people, what do you think's going to happen? You ride a horse through a crowd of people, what do you think's going to happen? Okay, so they have shown that there was absolutely no respect for human life, let alone the fact that these are protesters. Now, Interim Chief Bell, the coward who stepped up when the police chief in Ottawa resigned, uh, commends the police for their actions. As he put it, I commend them for their actions yesterday and throughout the day today. Okay. Uh, and then he comes across and says, we have officers from across the province and country here to help us. Every person supporting this effort is proud to be here. How proud are you to be beating on a civilian, breaking the collarbone of a little old lady? Okay. These remind me of the thugs that you had in high school. I remember one all too well because when I finally had enough, I threw him through a window. Uh, this is a problem because this is what I've said before. You're going to have somebody who's going to say, I've had enough. And there's going to be a cop who's going to get a bad case of lead poisoning. That's going to set everything else off. Now you have complete, utter chaos. So why is this important? Well, like I said the other day, I think Trudeau drew the short straw. And he was the one that got to see with the whole Davos crowd, okay, what happens when you go totally totalitarian? Because mind you, we still have, England, Australia, New Zealand, the United States. Notice how these are all somehow British related. Let's put it that way, because obviously they're separate countries, but still whatever. But somehow all fall under it. The crux to the West. This is what the Davos crowd hates, the World Economic Forum. Okay. And so they want to take out the English-speaking, the Western world. And when we have the Freedom Convoy in the United States coming up, you don't think for 1 second, or don't you dare think for 1 second, that Washington, the Biden administration, is not watching exactly what's going on in Canada and saying, okay, this is what they did. This is how the people reacted. This is what we need to do. This is how the people reacted. I pray to God that we have enough of our police that are saying, no, we're not going to do it. But I'm going to throw this one out there. And again, this is me speculating. There's plenty of videos out there where the police do not have a name badge on and do not answer any questions. When somebody says, what's your name? What's your badge number? Here's a question. Do those people understand what the question is? Do they speak English? Could those feasibly be UN troops? Because they're sure dressed out in military garb, okay? And it doesn't take that much to take a Velcro sticker that says police and put it on, okay? Which is literally what they're wearing. Has Trudeau brought the UN in? Very possible. Could be. That could be who these stormtroopers are, all right? Especially if they are loyal to the World Economic Forum. Now, I am totally speculating here. This is totally a thought, but my speculations have a tendency to pan out. What's going to happen with the Freedom Convoy in the U.S.? Americans are much better armed than the Canadians. There's a lot more of us, too. I worry about the Freedom Convoy in the U.S. that it is going to be totally infiltrated and it's going to go nowhere. I support what these truckers are doing 150%. No question whatsoever. I just wonder if a better idea, and I've mentioned this before, is to park your rig and say, no, not doing anything, not driving anywhere. Sorry. You want your Amazon package? Tough. You want food at the grocery store? Tough. I'm not doing it. Okay? If all these truckers did that, that would shut down Canada. I don't know how many truckers are going to be in the U.S. Freedom Convoy. Would that shut it down here, too? Because you look at any city, okay? New York, Washington, Boston, Chicago, LA, whatever it is. How much food do you think is in the back room in the grocery store in Chicago on the shelves? We've all talked about many times that, it'll take a day in an SHTF situation for the grocery stores to get cleaned out. Tell the world the trucks aren't running. It'll take a day for the grocery stores to clean out. It'll take about a week till people ate all that food and there ain't any more coming. Guys, everybody's worried about Ukraine, Russia. Sure, no question. But start worrying about what's in your backyard. I see too many people, too much mainstream media, too much YouTubers talking about what's going on 8,000 miles away. What's going on a few hundred miles away? Maybe 1,000, 2,000 or something like that. I mean, hell, if you live in LA, how far is Ottawa? 2,500 miles? Okay, close. This is what we have to worry about, because again, the Canadians being your most pleasant, peaceful people in the world, basically, have been pushed to the brink. Americans, USA, okay, because obviously Canada's North America too, okay, Americans is always kind of a faux pas for citizens of the United States. We have a little bit more rebellious streak in us than the Canadians. We will push the envelope. If this goes down, if this convoy goes down in the United States the same way it's going down in Canada, Teowaki is going to be here quick. Teowaki's already going on in Canada without rule of law, without rule of law. Yeah, there's a rule of law, military dictatorship. I want to know where all the rest of the ministers are in Canada right now who haven't thrown Trudeau out on his ass and said, no confidence, poof, your history, all right? Put him in handcuffs and whatever. He has declared war on his own people and is using the police force as his own personal military to do whatever he wants. Not everybody in Parliament agrees with him, even in his own party. United States, not everybody in the country agrees with Joe. 35%, 33% approval rating. He's underwater with Democrats. His own party, who are running for re-election here in 9 months, are disassociating themselves with him. Joe's had every fuck up possible you can imagine. Let him pull the same stuff as Trudeau, and guys, that civil war we've talked about is here. And literally it could be a couple of weeks away. Pinball out.